Great. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome. I can see we still have some participants joining. I will just kick off in the next minute. Thank you. Thank you for joining. Great. Good afternoon and good morning, everyone, depending on where you're located, and welcome. It's great to see some familiar faces. I can also see some new ones joining us today from across the agri-finance ecosystem, both in Tanzania and Nigeria. Thank you so much for making time in what I know is quite a busy schedule ahead of the Easter break. And your presence really speaks to how much this work matters to all of us. So today we are here to share a program that we are genuinely excited about, the Agripay Catalyst program, a bold new collaboration that is bringing together the Gates Foundation, ISF, and Mexico AgriFin to tackle, of course, one of the most persistent challenges that we have in smallholder agriculture, access to finance, and especially digital finance that actually works for farmers. This is a result of an extended time of discussions and shared conviction among all of us committed to the organizations in this space that we can do better to really increase digital agri-payments for the benefit of the beneficiaries that we work with in the agriculture space. So this afternoon, we are incredibly fortunate to have the Gates Foundation with us funding this program, ISF and the Mexico AgriFin team in one table, and yourselves as our participants, each bringing a lens that we'll discuss during this meeting. And in terms of sharing what the Agripay Catalyst program is and how we can go about kicking it off through the EOI process. So without much further ado, I think I would like to welcome Camilo Tellez Mechan, who is our representative from the Gates Foundation under Inclusive Financial Systems and is the Senior Program Officer for Payments. Welcome, Camilo, to the session. Looking forward to your comments around what this program is about and as we dig deeper into the session. Thank you and welcome, Camilo.
Thank you very much, Betty, and welcome to all the the applicants and partners that are interested in this program. As Betty said, my name is Camilo Tellez, and I lead the agricultural payments work at the Inclusive Financial Systems team within the Gates Foundation. At the foundational starting point for this project has been very simple. Despite the rapid growth of digital finance and impressive growth in East Africa as the leader worldwide on mobile money, over 80% of agricultural payments are still being made in cash. So we want to make sure that we're finding solutions that are actually fitting rural economies, that actually work. And, we understand that farmers have seasonal incomes and merchants operate really thin margins. And there are limited incentives to actually, for funds to remain digital. So this work really is about identifying, where digital payments can really scale, looking at specific value chains, transaction types, and incentives, and understanding what needs to be true both commercially and operationally for farmers and providers to adopt and sustain digital payments over time. So building on this, we partner with Mexico AgriFin and ISF advisors through the AgriFin Catalyst program. This is a test, learn, and scale initiative, as Betty mentioned, focused on Nigeria and Tanzania, where we're hoping to partner with many of you, providers, value chain actors, to co-design and test incentives that will drive increased usage across these countries. Really excited to engage. I know that this is obviously the first of hopefully many interactions that we'll be having, but we look forward to exploring how we can work together and scale agri-payments in Tanzania and Nigeria, and hopefully in other markets in the future. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Camilo, for that introduction. And as you've described, over the next 45 minutes, we're going to get a deeper understanding of the program. And to take us a step further is Collins. Collins, please join and introduce yourself. He's from the Masico AgriFin team.
Hello, everyone. Collins Marita for the AgriFin program. I lead our work on strategic planning. My work actually is just to welcome you to this webinar and thank you for making the time to join us. For those who are not familiar with the AgriFin program, we are a regional program that seeks or believes in the public technology to increase access to digital information and financial services. We have been operational for the past decade, and during that time, we have been able to partner with over 150 partners, been able to reach over 17 million smallholder farmers. During this, the experience has been that we need to do more, deepen interaction with financial services amongst players in the ecosystem, especially in the agricultural sector. And that's what led us to develop this particular program with the support of the Gates Foundation and working together with ISF. So without further ado, I'd just like to implore you to join us as we walk through this journey where we see every one of us prospering in a digitally connected world. So back to you, Betty.
Thank you, Collins. I like that we're moving quite efficiently on the time, and at least also understanding more on the program and the teams that are collaborating on this engagement. Coming over to you now, Christine. Christine is with ISF Advisors, and she will also just sort of pitch into the role as a partner that we're working with together, of course, with the Gates Foundation. Just maybe take us through, Christine.
Thank you, Betty, and thank you everyone for joining. So as already mentioned, ISF is a partner with Mercy Corps in implementing this program. ISF Advisors is a strategy and financial advisory group committed to mobilizing capital for a more sustainable, equitable, and productive global food system. So we work with access to finance from the smallholder farmer level all the way up to large companies, as long as it is related to agriculture and the food system. And so we're bringing in kind of the strategic vision to help understand what is going on in our two target countries of Nigeria and Tanzania, what is the market opportunity within agriculture, which value chains, what use cases, what entry points, and also what is the digital payment ecosystem, what channels exist, what is the digital infrastructure, and what policies are in place to promote digital. And as well benchmarking against other countries on what has been tried. Camilo mentioned that only, roughly 80% of digital payment, agricultural payments are digital. So what has been tried that hasn't worked, that has worked, how can we learn from that? And also understanding what types of providers there are, what skill sets they bring, what incentives have been tried, and what delivery models. And this is helping to inform the scoping of this, as well as going forward as you make to the next rounds, helping to inform the co-development phase and sharing this back with partners. Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Christine. It's important, I think, for all the participants to understand the partnership supporting this program and the role that each of us are playing, which will come into more detail as our colleague from Masico AgriFin, Kevin Genga, now goes into the detail of the program and also will guide us through the EOI process, the eligibility and the timelines during which the submissions should be done. I would like to mention at this stage that I know some questions will come up during the session. Please put the questions in the chat. Thank you so much to the participants who have been sending the questions via email since the EOI was published. So we're going to incorporate some of those questions in the answers during Kevin's presentation, but please feel free to add any additional questions in the chat. Coming over to you, Kevin.
Yeah, thanks, Betty, and thanks, Camilo, and Christine, for providing the background. Good afternoon, everyone. And now that we have some background on the overall objective of the program and the unique approach by the program, allow me to just dive into the details, introduce you to what is the Agripay Catalyst program. So Agripay Catalyst program is a 3-year result-driven initiative, of course, as mentioned, supported by the Gates Foundation. And its core objectives, it's been designed, one, to drive digital transition, basically trying to shift a lot of the payments that happen within the ag ecosystem from cash to digital. The focus will be on agriculture value chain payments. And then in terms of the target countries, for this particular phase of the program, we are focusing on Nigeria and Tanzania. The second thing is to be able to co-create scalable solutions. So we do know that you as providers have already been delivering some of these particular solutions. But for this particular program, we are really keen on how can we co-design, how can we test, and how can we design digital agri-payment models that will be commercially viable. So by commercially viable, we are saying our objective is basically to increase the adoption amongst people who patronize your solutions, specifically the value chain actors and the last mile users. Then lastly is just to entrench the scale of this particular solution. So we do recognize that already there do exist solutions in these particular markets that you're operating in. But I'm sure that even as yourselves, whenever you go back and are looking at your portfolio, sometimes solutions that you thought would actually really scale well do not scale as expected. So in this particular program, we are really keen on how can we incentivize these certain elements of this particular product so that we can end up with what we can term as proven models or services that will be able to scale, but at the same time also unlock a lot of commercial opportunities for you as providers. So we do believe that once that happens, then we are likely to achieve a lot more financial inclusion within the areas that you're operating, but at the same time, we are able to carry along all the actors that are involved within the agriculture ecosystem. And specifically, we are also within this particular program really trying to ensure that whatever solutions are being developed, they do encourage or carry along the women who are a critical component of the agriculture ecosystem. I will then move to just describe what we mean by incentives, because it is a term that will come, you will come across a lot of times. A number of you who've already maybe had a chance to go through the EOI or respond to the EOI know that we do mention this term incentives quite a lot. So how can we use the incentives basically to drive these digital payments within the ag ecosystem? So I start by describing what are incentives. So for us, we look at incentives as any financial or operational mechanism that would actually encourage this segment that we are trying to appeal to actually shift from cash payments to digital payments. We are talking about farmers, we are talking about merchants and other value chain actors. So as the farmers visit the agrovets, what would actually make them to actually lean and decide to actually go digital in terms of making payments, as opposed to the current situation where, as indicated earlier on, more than 80% of them are actually making cash payments at some of these critical touch points within the different value chains. So what will the incentives achieve? We do believe that implemented well within the different models or integrated into the different models, incentives are likely to actually lower the cost of distributing or scaling some of these particular services. But at the same time, they're also likely to lower the cost of accessing these particular solutions by these particular target segments, the farmers, the merchants, and the other value chain actors. At the same time, we do believe that incentives are likely to improve convenience and security. So we do know that there are certain reasons as to why people are currently shunning digital payments. So could we use this particular opportunity? Could we incentivize some of these particular solutions or products that you're offering to assure these people of convenience and security whenever they are transacting or whenever they are engaging within the different value chains? The third is around strengthening provider economics. We do hope that at the end of the day, the organizations that we end up working with and the solutions that we end up developing become sustainable in the long term. Our objective is not to come in, design solutions that would only last the time of the program, but we do hope that with the proper use of incentives, with a proper relook at some of the models that you're currently extending or that you are proposing to extend within the different markets, we will come up with strong models that ensure that you as a provider can sustainably deliver these particular services in the long term. And then the last one is on driving sustainable, sustained digital use. Of course, we do hope that at the end of the program, the behavior element amongst these particular critical elements will have been adjusted to an extent that they are really comfortable leveraging and using the digital solutions or the digital payments. And a few examples around what incentives could look like. And this particular list is not exhaustive. For the financial incentives, you may have cashbacks, you may introduce discounts or subsidies within your program. When it comes to market kind of incentives, we're looking at guaranteed offtake, premium prices or faster payments for the farmers whenever you're aggregating. For the embedded services, we're looking at incentives could be bundling credit or insurance or advisory into some of the services that you're already delivering. And then in terms of just tweaking their behavior or building trust with these actors, group onboarding or more training to them or transparent records are ways that you can actually leverage digital technology to actually ensure that you have a larger active base of users of your solutions. And then lastly, on the ecosystem side, we are looking at how else can we influence or contribute to regulatory incentives within the markets that you operate in. That would actually ensure that the solution you're extending becomes sustainable. Then what is the eligibility criteria? How can you participate in this particular program? Basically, in terms of who can apply, any registered and operating financial institution, ag fintechs, PSPs, MNOs, supply chain players are eligible to apply to this particular program. But at the same time, we're also noting that consortia are encouraged, given the complementarity that this may actually bring, because we know that through consortia, you may strengthen the route to market for your solutions. You may strengthen your capital adequacy in terms of liquidity to actually extend some of these services. There could be opportunities to actually have a lot more visibility in terms of the different data points collected within your value chain. At the same time, we're also talking about the possibility of leveraging other actors who already enjoy a network within these particular rural locations. So that's particularly the reason why we also encourage consortia, or we encourage players to actually come into this particular program as consortia. Number two, we've already mentioned it. It's about the operational presence in Nigeria and Tanzania. I'll not belabor the point. The third one is on capability and commercial viability. So basically, our objective is sustainability of this particular program over and beyond the time of the grant. And so with this particular objective in mind, we are looking to actually work with actors who have a proven track record in their markets. We're also looking to work with actors who are keen to also co-invest in this particular journey. It could be a co-investment in form of financial contribution into that particular implementing the project, or even in-kind co-investment. And then largely we are also looking at a concept that will have a strong showing as far as sustainability is concerned. And then finally, it's around the impact and innovation focus, where for us to actually generally grow digital payments or services within this particular ecosystem, there is a need to actually grow the data flows within this particular space. And so the more visibility, the more data points that you can actually elicit in your EOI application that you can be able to show as you implementing your solution, the better or the more stronger your application becomes. At the same time, your ability to drive DFS adoption and usage, and just to showcase what you've already done in the past, would also serve your application in a great way. And then lastly, just demonstration of gender inclusion intentionality within your institutions, within the other solutions that you're extending. I think that will also be a nice to have as you submit your application. Finally, in terms of the benefits, before we move to allow you to maybe pose questions, what can you look out for as you apply into this particular program? So we are working as a consortium. So during the testing or structuring of this particular concept beyond the EOI stage, we are looking at opportunities for you to actually de-risk your innovation and the investments that you're putting into that particular space, because through this particular program, you have an opportunity to actually test and structure your implementation, test your ideas, and actually take them to scale. Number two is the opportunity that this particular program brings is for you to actually grow your active rural customer. This will largely come through the targeted incentive models. For us, we do believe that you've already identified why certain solutions may not be working as well. And so through this particular program, which allows you to test, then we do believe that there's a golden opportunity for you to actually, at the end of the day, grow your active rural customers, which also means more return on investment for you as an organization. Strengthening your unit economics, we do believe that as you grow your rural customers, then there are more opportunities for you to layer on additional services, layer on additional products to this particular segment. And at the end of the day, build your return on investments, as I've already put it, but also just expand your revenue base as an institution. Then with an expanded customer base also comes the cross-selling opportunities, because within an expanded customer base, different use cases are likely to arise. So there could be opportunities for you to extend, be it credit, insurance, other saving services, and many other services that this particular segment is always craving for. Then finally, we do hope that at the end of maybe working with us, you will be able to become an agri-payments market leader within your locality by virtue of just being able to test and deliver solutions that actually appeal to the market, solutions that are adopted and used by the market. But to help you do all this, this particular program is also providing a catalytic funding support of up to $100,000 for the selected concept. So when I say for the selected concept, we are treating each EOI application as a concept in itself. So this particular program will back you up as you test these particular solutions through this particular catalytic funding, just to move you to the next step. In terms of timelines, we are currently receiving EOIs, and this closes on the 10th of April, beyond which then engagements with the program team will start, and we'll get into spaces where we are refining these particular ideas. Then we move into phases where we are co-designing a pilot with you. We are taking the idea that you submitted through the EOI, thinking it through with you, and then moving into a full proposal stage before getting to a stage where we are testing these particular ideas, these particular refined ideas. Of course, as we test, our objective is also to ensure that we are tracking, we are checking different metrics that would also be able to tell you whether this particular solution, can it be sustainable? Is it something that is likely to scale and to sustain over and above the lifetime of this particular program? But lastly, and again, most importantly, is just the opportunity to also learn through this particular phase for you as an institution that is implementing, but at the same time for the market where you operate in. So we do look forward to actually harness so much learning from these interactions to enable us to actually build resource materials that can be utilized by other actors within your spaces, just to ensure that whatever models that are being implemented in the markets, they are models that can scale sustainably. So at this point, I will pause and give you back the meeting, allow you to pose any questions that you may have with respect to the EOI. So I would like to pass the mic back to Betty. Thank you.
Kevin, thank you very much for that detailed description of the program and also the eligibility criteria for the EOI. I know some of it is sinking in, some of it has already been described when the EOI was published, but we did think that this opportunity is important to just have a discussion on any questions that could come up ahead of the closing date on 10th of April. I see so far we have one question on the chat. Please feel free to include any other questions on the chat, but I'll also go through some that have come through the website during the EOI applications. Maybe one short one from Oluwafemi. Thank you so much for posting that question. And maybe I could direct it to Camilo, if you don't mind. It's quite straightforward. How many participants will be selected per country?
Thank you very much, Betty. So we actually do not have defined number per country. We're hoping that at the end there'll be 4 different partners that are selected, as part of the program. But that doesn't mean that it has to be 2 and 2, based on a country. We're more interested in just seeing what the proposals and concepts actually can bring forward and how innovative and scalable they are, and based on that we'll make that decision.
Thank you very much, Camilo. Kevin, maybe I'll direct one that came through the emails about what does success look like for the program. So there was a question about what are the key metrics for this initiative, what will be the key performance indicators, and how will progress be tracked? Maybe, Kevin, you could speak to that.
Yeah, thanks, Betty. Allow me to look at it in maybe from the provider view. From the provider view, we are hoping that what we will be able to iterate and take to market will be something that will be scalable, sustainable, commercially viable solution that ensures you get return on investment, that also allows you to layer on other services and solutions. From the ecosystem, from the demand side, I'm looking at the farmers or the other actors within the value chain. I'm hoping that the solution that we develop through this particular program is one that allows them to access services at I don't want to say at discounted prices, but at fair rates. I'm looking at solutions that would actually entice them to move from the cash heavy kind of transactions that they are currently using to the digital forms of transactions. So I'm looking at a more informed, maybe ecosystem actor, be it the farmer, through this particular initiative, there could be an opportunity to layer on maybe agriculture training to these particular farmers that you work with, insurance product, more adoption of insurance solutions. So for me, I'm looking at a program that is capable of delivering a win-win solution from the side of the provider, but at the same time from the farmer or from the other actors or the demand side, if you're looking at the provider as the supply side of supply side, or as the other player in the ecosystem.
Thank you, Kevin. I see also Yvonne Bayona. Thank you so much for joining. Great to see you on this webinar. There's a question on the allocation of the USD $100,000. I'll just read it. Could you please confirm whether the USD 100,000 allocation is per use case? For example, they are considering a range of use cases such as payments, access to credit, insurance, and advisory services. All of which, of course, have their own unique requirements and dynamics. Maybe back to you, Camilo. Would you like to take that? Sorry to put you on the spot.
I think maybe I could take a stab at it, Betty.
Sure. Thank you, Kevin.
So I think in one of my slides I mentioned that in addition to all the benefits that are likely to accrue to the providers or the people who are working hard to actually put out these particular solutions in the various markets, we will provide a catalytic funding of $100,000. So this catalytic funding is just a co-investment to help you along the journey as you try to actually respond to the market needs. And as such, for this particular program, the way we are looking at it, we are looking at a concept that comes through. So you may call it an application. For that particular application, we are willing to back it with $100,000. So the application may comprise maybe bundled services. So we want to treat that as one application. And so for each application, we will be backing this with catalytic funding of up to 100,000. So it's not based on the individual use cases within that one application. Thank you.
Thanks, Kevin, for covering that. And I'm really thankful for the questions coming through on the chat, just for better understanding. Patrick, thank you. You've asked, after receiving concepts, how long will the validation and refining iteration period be before going to execution? Can an idea or concept be dropped at this stage? Maybe I can invite Christine also just to comment on this from ISF.
Sure. So the process is, once we receive the EOIs on April 10th, we will then be reviewing first based on the eligibility criteria that Kevin mentioned, and then we will be doing an internal scoring. Then we'll have a short list that will move on into a deep dive, where we will have phone calls with the selected participants. So there will be a drop off between the EOI submission and the deep dive calls. And then finally, those that move on to the next round will be invited to submit a full proposal after having some co-design, hearing about the research that's been done, and having some conversations around their concept. So each stage there will be a shortened list.
Great. I hope that captures it, Patrick. And thanks again, Christine. So Riches, I think the question you've asked around how flexible the program is to test an existing hypothesis had been covered during the eligibility criteria, but maybe Kevin could touch on it as he looks at the question from John Erimaco, who's asking on the willingness of the program to invest in infrastructure like mobile phones and agency banking. and has requested just to have a look at slide 6 again. Over to you, Kevin.
Yes, so maybe to start off with a question from Riches. Yeah, so if you have an existing hypothesis that you are already testing, and it speaks to the EOI or the program, as it were, then this is something that we are willing to accommodate. So just ensure that whatever hypothesis you're already testing aligns well with the EOI that is out there, then it is something that we are willing to look at and help you refine should you be shortlisted as one of those organizations. Then the other question was on how willing is the program to invest in infrastructure like mobile phones and agency banking to improve financial inclusion in areas where there is no representation or low adoption of technology. So one of the competencies of the implementing or the partners that will be supporting you through implementation is around strategy, scaling agri-finance on the technology side in terms of agency models, building them out, go-to-market strategy. And so the catalytic funding is not ring-fenced per se, in terms of we are not saying we can't invest in this or the other. But then these are discussions that during that co-creation stage, where we now open up this particular idea and discuss it extensively, then these are discussions that will happen at that particular stage. But the short answer is that the catalytic funding is currently not ring-fenced to only finance maybe particular things, as long as it contributes to the refinement of the incentive that you're trying to test, as long as it contributes to growing or scaling the model and making it more sustainable for the betterment of the ecosystem that you're trying to serve. So those discussions will happen during the co-creation stage.
Thank you, Kevin. I see also there's a request. Livinus, yes, we can share a replay and also maybe the deck from this meeting in order to just have clarity on the next steps. Of course, we are still very much open to questions coming through the EOI email, even after this session. So this is really just the beginning of that conversation, so that then next steps will be clear before the 10th of April. I'm just scrolling again through the chat just to see what might not have been covered. So I think for that request for slide 6, once we share the deck, please have a look, and we should be able to have that taken care of in terms of information. There's a question on the breakdown of costs. Should this be put in the EOI? And if, agriculture is capital intensive, if it bundles, it becomes even more expensive. So the question is there an allowance to bundle the costs for the use cases when they share with the EOI?
We totally, I think we totally recognize, one, the kind of investment and commitment that providers have shown in trying to actually extend services into these far-flung areas, sometimes covering very large geographical regions. However, for this particular phase, we are saying, present your idea. Let's get to discuss it. There could even be possibilities of actually facing what you want to do. So we may be looking to do quite a lot, but through the co-creation exercise, maybe the advice, or at the end of the co-creation exercise, we discover that through a phased approach, we can still get to where, as an organization, we want to arrive at. So let's just be open. Let's submit our concepts. And once they get reviewed, then there could be an opportunity for you to actually sit down with the implementing partners and to just try and structure whatever you want to implement in a way that even becomes possible for you as an institution, and also just leveraging the support that is at hand. Back to you, Betty.
Thank you. Thank you, Kevin, for that clarification. And I think with that, we have really closely come to time. I would just like, to thank everyone who has participated for the really good engagement, even in terms of questions. And I'm hoping that we are closer now to submission of the EOIs before the 10th again. I'm mentioning the date because with the Easter break, there's a few days to go, but it's quite straightforward. We look forward to seeing those submissions. Really, it's the beginning of a process, as Kevin described, a 3-year process. And so please keep us engaged even on email where further clarity is needed. I would just like to invite Camilo, please, to close out the session before we wrap up. Thank you.
I believe Camilo had to drop off early.
Oh, I see.
Yes.
Okay. Is Colin still on the call? Or Christine? Christine, you could close us off?
Yes.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for joining. Thank you for giving us your time. Really appreciate it. As the team has said, we're looking forward to working with you, coming up with great ideas that can increase access to digital services and increase access to financial services. Looking forward to developing them, working with you, or creating with you, and looking forward to see how best we can be able to implement this great initiative. And we do need you for it to be successful. And one of the questions was, what is the key markers of success? I think the biggest marker of success is how best we'll be able to execute and serve the clients that we aim to serve as the ecosystem. Thank you, and looking forward to working with you.
Thank you, Collins. Thank you. Christine, final words for this session, that is, not for the program.
Great. I thank you everyone for your questions and your interest, and we look forward to seeing your applications and working with you on developing them further.
Thank you. With that, we have come to a close. Wishing everyone a wonderful Easter break and looking forward to continuing the interaction. Wishing everyone a good evening and a great weekend ahead. Thank you. Thanks again for joining.
Thank you.